BNP Paribas, partenaire des plus belles histoires de Roland-Garros, aux côtés des ramasseurs de balles depuis plus de 50 ans.
I'm feeling good. The last couple of days, I decided to not play Hamburg and to skip that week because it was vital and important to me to regain my health. The last few weeks on the tour have been demanding and physically taxing, so I had to take a week off. I've had a good week of preparation back home, and I've been doing all the necessary things to try and get ready for the big Grand Slam here in France. One of my favorites, to come and play here. I've always had a sort of a good relationship with the crowd, but also a very strong memory of getting to play the final here and having had a great run that year, playing flawless tennis and being on top of my game. So I'm hoping I can try and regain that confidence. I'm hoping that I won't get stuck at quarters, like the last couple of years. So this is something that I'm gonna work towards this edition of the Roland-Garros, and I'm hoping that it's going to go better for me this time.
Take questions now, please.
Hey, Stefanos. From the outside, this past year seemed like quite a year of maturation for you, just in I don't know, in terms of the people around you, your team, and becoming more of an adult. Does it feel like that at all for you?
Absolutely, it feels very much like that, and I've acknowledged it, I've accepted it, and I know that there's a lot of discomfort that comes with that, being used to my own ways and being used to certain patterns and situations that were occurring kind of on a repetitive mode. I feel like I've escaped that a little bit, and I'm more in control of what I want and what I think is necessary for me. Having that said, I feel like I'm my own boss, much clearer, and I've never worked harder in my life, so that is a bonus and that is a plus. I keep pushing myself to the limits every single day. Sometimes it's difficult. It's been a tough 2 years, I would say, especially after what happened at the Nito finals, that 1 year that I had to retire. It's been physically very demanding to trying to catch up with the intensity of what the tour has to offer. So I've been just doing my best constantly to have my body constantly prepared and not break down suddenly like it did in Turin that year.
Steph, you mentioned reaching the final here a few years ago. How did you find the period sort of after having lost it, both then and in Australia a couple of years later?
Are we talking about the Grand Slam finals?
Yeah.
What was the question again?
How did you find it after? Did it give you belief? You're like, okay, I've reached the final, or was it a tough thing to kind of lift yourself and get back to regular tour life?
It feels good being able to play Grand Slam finals. You feel important. You feel like you're doing something with your career. So it definitely adds a lot of confidence to your game. Being in a position to do it in a hard court, on a hard court and on a clay court, shows you that there's variation in my game. I'm not just a player that can play good on clay or on vice versa, basically. So I feel like it feeds me a lot of information of things that didn't go well and why I lost those finals and what can I do better next time. Twice I was exposed against Novak. It was very difficult having to be able to keep up with that level of intensity. It's easy to say that, but one year here I was very close. I was 2 sets to love up, but it kind of seemed very far away. Even when I reached that point, it seemed like I hadn't done anything that important yet, because obviously I was being faced against the best player in the world at the time. I feel like the lineup right now is much more difficult than it was back then. Players are so much more mature. Shots have changed, Players have second forehands in this very moment. Like, they're playing with 2 forehands almost. So I have to adapt my game, and I have to consider certain things moving forwards, because it's growing a lot in intensity, and physically it has never been in a position like the way it is now. So I see constant evolution and constant growth of the sport in terms of how the players are evolving and how much better they're getting over the years.
Hi. One of the big moments of the tournament is going to be the ceremony for Nadal. Can you tell us why he was so strong on play? If you have to choose one skill, maybe.
I was lucky enough not to play him on Chatrier, because I would have felt that wouldn't have been a fun experience. But I've played him a few times on clay. I can say that well, he has a gift to be able to play that way and to do the stuff that he did over so many years. I have massive respect for him, but also he taught me so much about clay court tennis. He taught me so much about determination and perseverance on the tennis court. I've always spoken about Federer, how Roger Federer was the person that I looked up to, but I think it's a combination of the two. I never admitted that it was Rafa because I felt like my tennis resonated more with Roger than Rafa's. Maybe if I would have been a double-handed backhand player, maybe I would have leaned more towards Rafa Nadal, but I have massive respect for what he has done with Roland-Garros, winning 29 times, 14 times. So it will be tough to see him go away. I spoke to him a few weeks ago in Madrid, and yeah, it's strange seeing him not compete and living a completely different life than he used to for so many years.
So what did it take then for you to become your own boss, and how have you liked that, I guess, freedom and power in your life, and what are the challenges of it?
Well, responsibility, much more responsibility, and I'm ready to face it. I don't think I would have picked that way if I wasn't ready for the consequences that come with it and the demands that those things entail. So I was absolutely ready for something like this. I think it also allows me to form more into an adult. I felt like I was mature at the time, but there are certain things and certain ways that I need to impose within my life to take bigger responsibilities, and I think that will also teach me how to mature faster and how to be faced against difficult, challenging situations, not just on the tennis court, but outside of it as well. So I've definitely learned massively in that occasion, and it has helped me form into a much stronger and a much more decisive, sorry. I keep mixing it with Spanish because it's decisive player and person at the same time.
Okay, a couple of last in English, we'll move to...
I think it was French that is decisive, no? I got like confused.
So you were saying that, I just wondered about, you know, when you take a tough loss, is it difficult as a player because you need to it's your job to kind of analyze it and see what went wrong, what went right, but is that quite a painful thing to do, to like sit down and watch, say like, let's watch a Grand Slam final defeat? Like, is that quite, sometimes you just like, I don't want to watch it.
If I could explain you the amount of times that I've went to watch a match that I've lost, and midway I'm like, I can't do this anymore. It just hurts me. It hurts seeing me being punched and kicked at, metaphorically speaking. So sometimes I just have to endure it. I like doing it. I've been doing it more over the last couple of weeks. I've been spending more time focusing on, you know, receiving feedback from those type of matches, because I feel it's much more valuable than I initially thought when I was younger. I've grown to realize that this is important as part of the growth that I'm looking for in my tennis, and data has been a big element into the last couple of weeks being on the tour. I've been analyzing a lot. And what is more interesting is all this equipment stuff and analytics around how equipment actually benefits you or takes away certain things out of your game. So I've been very analytical on those type of things, and it has helped me craft a better understanding of things that are being taken away from a game and things that I maybe should focus on more.
Have you watched back the Slam finals?
With Novak, it's a bit tough because I think it's 3 hours 40, and I did last week watch maybe 25-30 minutes of it, and made me realize how much of a different player I am today than I was back then. I would say even better now than in that particular final that I played. And I would just want to pinpoint the thing you asked me earlier. Tennis has become more intense in terms of having to keep up with the level. And that's what I've realized being in that final, that tennis is very much different now than it was before Yannick and Carlos come around the corner. But also there are a bunch of guys now that are, you know, following their footsteps and showing the same type of potential.
Last question.
Just very quickly on the same theme, Stefanos, when you watch, say, that match back, a Grand Slam final or a huge match, do you watch the part where you're winning, or do you, because maybe it might make you come into the next tournament feeling good about yourself and remembering how well you can play, or is it more important to pick up on things that didn't do that so well?
It's important on both ways to analyze the losses and the wins. Obviously, it's a much greater feeling when you see yourself win matches, and I spend more time watching those that I win than the ones I lose, because it just psychologically it hurts more seeing yourself, you know, not being able to figure it out. I take away a lot of things from matches that I win to kind of observe more the patterns and the tactics and the strategies that I apply into the court that actually work. And I try to recreate those in my mind, even when I go to sleep. Sometimes I play tennis in my mind, and I don't think that's toxic or weird to do. It's just probably a way to show my love for tennis and how much I like the tactic behind the sport that I chose to play. It helps me, you know, activate my mind a little bit, imagine how it would be if I was playing in another Roland-Garros final again. What could I avoid this time, and what could I recreate in my mind as a visualization type of thing to try and impose next time, maybe if I'm faced in a situation like this. So yeah, the work starts even outside of the tennis court sometimes, maybe right before bed.